And we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to WrestlePurists Worldwide. I am your host, Ibu of WrestlePurists, better known to many of you guys as Back of Hangman. And I'm joined by a returning Anna, who I think she's only missed like one or two shows. But because wrestling moves at a mile a minute, it feels like I haven't seen her in like a month. But Anna's back. Anna is going to be graduating college, which is awesome. Everyone give her a round of applause. Everybody shout her out, give her flowers in the chat, all that type of stuff. Welcome Anna back. She's back to talk pro wrestling with us. We're going to catch her up, talk about the latest going on in the game, and just talk some wrestling for the next little bit here. Hopefully not too long of a show today. We're going to just kind of hang out, kick it, catch up, and take your guys' questions and opinions. So in case you didn't know, this is WrestlePurists Worldwide. And today we'll be talking about TripleMania Regia, which is last night. In case you missed the show, I'll give you guys an update on that. We'll talk about New Japan's Dominion show, which happened on Saturday going into Sunday, technically. The G1 lineups are out, so we'll take a look at that. We'll also take a look at the King and Queen of the Ring brackets as they currently stand now, as well as AEW's Grand Slam show in Mexico, which this week on Wednesday on Dynamite. They're going to go 2.5 hours, and it'll be broadcasted live from Arena Mexico. So that should be very exciting. So we'll talk about all that type of stuff, maybe give you guys some updates on other things happening in the world of wrestling. And in the meantime, catch up and take your guys' questions and super chats. So like the video if you haven't, subscribe to WrestlePurists if you have not subscribed. And please get those super chats in, folks. Get them in now, get them in early, and we'll get into those shortly. But before we do, welcome back, Anna. What's up? Talk to me. What's new with you?
Yes, so like Ivo said, guys, I am graduating in 10 days. Today
Yes.
I had my bachelor's thesis presentation, the bachelor project. I'm all done with university, which is insane because when I started WrestlePurist, I wasn't even in university. So that was the journey. It's been like 3-4 years now, Ivo? Around 3 years.
Insane. We're getting old, Anna.
Crazy. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for the congratulations. I appreciate you all so much. I missed being here, but if you guys know, like the final weeks of university are just insane. So my brain was just like short wiring like the whole time. I have not had time to catch up on wrestling. I missed Dominion, unfortunately,
from what I'm hearing. Not unfortunately.
Yeah, from what I'm hearing, incredible show. I saw the video of one specific spot that we're gonna get into later. Mr. Gabe Kidd, amazing work. It happens, shit happens. But anyway, like I'm really glad to be back and to be discussing wrestling and to see what I missed also, because Ibu's gonna catch me up, you guys in the chat gonna catch me up, but right. I'm happy to be here and I'll try to lock in wrestling a bit more now that I have time. Guys, thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, there's a lot of
I really appreciate you all. I appreciate you all so much. Every time that I'm gone for like 1 week or two and then I come back and I see the chat happy, I'm like, oh my God, you guys like me?
You know what's funny? Yeah, and you know what's funny about it is when you're gone, like the heat comes to me. Like for whatever reason, the chat decides that like Anna's gone because Ibu decided to just like take her off a show. Like that's just what they decide happens, right? And so like
I'm just saying, sometimes when you don't pay your workers, they have to take other things.
It's fucking great. I come in, I'm like, hey, what's up, everybody? It's me. I know Anna. She's like, where the fuck is Anna? What the fuck? You stop doing this. Stop making her. Stop taking her off the show. So I'm like, guys, if she's not here,
if she paid me well, I would be here even through the hard times. I'm just saying.
You got a penny pinch. You got to find a way to work around the town schedule and their pay rate and their pay grades and stuff. You can't pay everybody all the time. So I did what I could this week, and you're here, thankfully. And we will talk wrestling, Anna. And
Joe's not here, so I got his part of the money. I got
right.
The cut, so.
See, that's the thing. I was able to give you Joe's cut this week. That's actually what happened. Guys, get those super chats in, get those questions in. I may or may not have had conversations with officials within wrestling promotions over the last 2 days, so I might have some stuff for you guys. But it's up to you guys to ask the questions. But beyond that, Anna, you know what you did miss that was hilarious in the last week?
What?
Jey Uso lost his World Heavyweight Championship to Gunther.
I saw the tweet. Okay, just let me tell you something, Ivo. Let me tell you something.
Go for it.
I was going through it last week, right? Because like the last week before presenting the project, everything had to be ready. I was working full days, 10 hours, also almost every day on top of that while doing the project. I was losing my mind. Right. Then a beautiful morning, I just opened Twitter first thing in the morning because why not? Like my brain's already rotted enough. I opened Twitter and I see a video. I see a tweet from WWE. I'm like, wait a second. What is this? I see Gunther choking out Jey Uso. I'm like, wait, what happened? What happened? I see your new world champion. Well, sometimes life is beautiful. In the hard moments, Guns just comes through.
Here's what makes it funny, Anna, is going in, right? That match was scheduled for weeks. June 7th or whatever it was, Gunther versus Jay rematch. Nobody thought Gunther was winning. Everyone's assumption was Seth is going to win Money in the Bank, and then he's going to cash in on Monday. Something like that. Or Seth tries to cash in, Roman returns and screws Seth, Punk screws Seth, something like that. There's a distraction, blah, blah, blah. Jay wins. Or there was also this prediction, Anna. People thought Gunther wins, but then Goldberg returns, spears Gunther, then Seth cashes in. The bottom line was everyone's prediction was no matter what happens, it's not Gunther walking out with the belt. Well, you know what happened, Anna? They just had a 20-minute match where Gunther just choked the life out of Jay and won clean and then held the belt and celebrated. And that was it. And I was like, wait, what? What?
They didn't believe in us. Guns Nation, they said that we were down. They said that it was 2 words, 4 letters, whatever that shit was. They said, 4 words, what was the thing, Ibu?
4 letters, 1 word.
4 letters. They were eating on our grave when they were trying to put us down. They were trying to act like Mr. Jay Uso, Rikishi's son, was a better wrestler than Gunther, than Big Van Walter. All I gotta say, we back up. We back up. Guns Nation.
I was in awe. All I thought was like Hunter was so horny to book this. Like he was so ready to just get it right back to Gunther. And I'm very surprised. We'll see what happens. We'll see why this decision was made and what ends up happening. Because the King and Queen of the Ring tournaments are underway, Anna. And they announced that the winners of these tournaments will go on to SummerSlam to get title shots. And so Sami Zayn looks like the favorite on the Raw side. And if he wins, he's going to face Gunther. So I could see that for SummerSlam, which that would be a great match. Their Mania match is great. So we'll see. One last thing before we get to Super Chats. Did you see Rikishi's crash out on his podcast?
I did.
Oh my God.
That was one of the few things I did. And that was one of those videos that I saw so many times on my timeline. And I was just thinking there's nothing in the world. There's no amount of money you can pay me to see, to click on a video of Rikishi in a podcast, why would I do that?
It's amazing.
But then I saw so many tweets, people, they really convinced me. And I'm like, you know what? Let me just open this. That man Jey Uso, he's 40 years old. He is not a good wrestler. He shouldn't even have won the title in the first place. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? What is even this conversation? What are you acting like he's an underdog? That he's oh my God, poor guy. He won the Royal Rumble. He won the world title from Gunther. From Gunther by choking him out clean at WrestleMania. And you want to act like
he's a victim. He's a victim.
He's a victim. My poor son, he's so underrated. He doesn't even know how to fucking wrestle. Have you seen his spear? That should be enough for him to never get.
Anna, he was acting like WWE was wronging. He was like, "What is it? What is it about my boy that makes y'all keep doing this? 51 days. 51 days. Is he
blind? Have you seen his spear? That spear, he should have never won the title in the first place. Just from that spear alone. I'm not even gonna say anything else, huh? I'm just thinking that spear alone is enough to send someone back to if it wasn't the family, if it wasn't the name, back to NXT, TNA. I don't care. What is the thing? No, Guantanamo Bay is from AEW. What is it? Palcatraz. Whatever. Yes. Palcatraz. I don't care. No, Guns Nation, we're up. We knew from the beginning that's a wrestler right there. You see Gunther and you're like, this is a wrestler. This is someone who gets it, someone who knows it. He's just a complete wrestler. He's a perfect wrestler. If you were gonna build a wrestler, you probably build Gunther. You know what I'm saying? And they had him lose to Jey Uso. This is the least. 51 days was too much. It felt like 2 years. It was too much. It's too long. Too long. No, now we're going all the way, baby. We're going all the way. Gunther, Bruno Sammartino, count your fucking days. We're doing it. I just hope that this time they actually book his reign well. Yeah. That they just don't keep him in the sideline, just he's just the whole time just waiting for Sammy to win, and that's it, and that's the whole plan.
Yeah, I totally
because
agree.
That would be very, but also
he was in the fucking Judgment Day vortex at the end of his title reign, and it was bro, can you work the main event, guys? So
I swear, like I really hope that they book him well, and of course, I would love to see another Sammy match, and I would love to see Sammy winning the World Championship.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't take this time while Gunther, even if it's just like the hope that's the end goal, and it's kind of like a transaction, not transactional. Yeah, how do you call it? Like transitional. Yeah, like a transitional title reign. Yeah, sure, maybe that's the plan, but don't treat it like it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like you have one of the best wrestlers. It's the same thing with Io that I'm noticing. Like she hasn't defended the title in how long? Just you have those wrestlers as your world champion. Just put them to wrestle every week. They're the kind of wrestlers that they can get a good match out of almost anyone. I mean, Seth Jey Uso. By the way, I never want to see Gunther and Jey Uso in the same ring ever again in my life. Like I might commit crimes.
They've wrestled like 6 times, I think. Like 5 or 6
none of them were memorable. None of them were like, oh my god, what a good match. Like none of them.
They're all like they're all like okay wrestling matches. Yeah, it's like, insane.
It's a match, you know. It's a match, and I never want to see them in the ring together again. But just treat I know Paul likes Gunther, so just give him matches. Just give him matches every week. Just try to make this reign not feel like a whatever thing. You know, like even if you're not going to put him against like the biggest main event guys, you still have very good names in your roster that can carry that. Like you have your Chad Gables, you have Phoenix, you have Penta, you have people, you have the AAA partnership now that you can use like fucking Vikingo. Like I don't know, Mr. Iguana even, like I don't care.
Just get creative.
Just get creative, you know, like Melo. What is Melo doing? Like just put Gunther against like anyone every week and you're gonna be fine. Just make this title reign feel like it's something.
I don't disagree with you, and we'll see what they end up doing because it's looking like, Anna, he's going to be Goldberg's retirement match. But the weird part about this to me is Gunther's not going to lose to Goldberg, and I know Triple H like hates Goldberg. I don't know if I'm breaking news to people. I'm going to like reveal Triple H doesn't really care for Goldberg, but he's a wrestling star, so it's like it's a weird balancing act. It's like how do you give a legendary figure a graceful retirement when he's challenging for the belt? And what I'm curious of, because what I thought, Anna, when I read the report, I thought, okay, maybe Gunther squashes him in Saudi, and then Goldberg does the thing of like, oh, I don't know if I still have it, blah 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 blah, and a disposable heel loser like an Austin Theory comes out and he squashes him in Atlanta for his last show in Saturday Night's Main Event. That's what I thought, but the reports are claiming that it's Goldberg Gunther at Atlanta, and I'm like, how do you do a final match for Goldberg and do him justice if he's facing Gunther? Unless Goldberg just does a million spears and still loses, and then that's it, which is kind of crazy to me. But I mean, I'm not going to complain. But it's just crazy if that's like actually what they end up doing.
But Ibu, what if Goldberg wins? That's the real fear here.
Let's relax. let's just relax. Let's not say crazy things on podcasts. You know, I know this is a wild.
Still Goldberg.
We've all said insane things on this show, but let's not get too crazy. You know, let's not suggest.
I really hope not. But I feel like Gunther is the perfect person to retire because, like, I do understand the whole point. Like, we know how Goldberg is, you know, like, and I do understand, like, oh, why don't they just choose like a random person? But I do feel like if it's your last match, if it's your retirement match, you would want it against someone that makes it feel important, right? And that also, like, in a kayfabe kind of thing, that it makes sense that after wrestling that person, you are retired. You know what I mean? Like Gunther is the kind of guy that would kill you, that you never step in a ring again. And for Goldberg and all like the pose and his whole character, for him to get to the point that like, I'm actually not wrestling again, I think he needs to go against someone that feels like indestructible in a way.
Yeah, my choice would either be Gunther or Braun Breaker, who's with Seth Rollins right now. Bronson Reed is now with Seth, and like I wouldn't mind him killing Goldberg. The problem is if Bronson Reed gave Goldberg a tsunami, he'd probably paralyze him. So we'll see what they end up doing. Goldberg made it public, Anna. He'd been trying to train for this return, and like just in training, like he tore a bunch of muscles in his leg doing high kicks and shit. And I'm reading like his training methods, and I'm like, why are you doing like jujitsu when all you do is 2 moves? Like, bro, just get in shape, do your fucking match, and leave. Why are you doing Brazilian jiu-jitsu? Like, it makes no sense. You're 60, you know, but whatever. But that's the situation with Yeet Man, who has dropped his belt. A lot of people are very, very excited about that. One more funny thing about this, Anna. Ilya Dragunov FC has beef with Jey Uso. They hate him, right? Because last year in the King of the Ring quarterfinals, I believe, or semifinals, Ilya faced Jey. And if Ilya won, he was going to face Gunther. And fans are like, oh my God, yes, we're going to get the match. And right before the match, Anna, Ilya walks up to Gunther and they have like a stare down. And the fans are like, oh my God, fuck.
I remember that.
Yes. And we get the match. And Ilya does this fucking like elbow thing to the face. And the fans are like, oh my God, 1, 2, Jay kicks out. And it hits a shitty spear. And it hits a shitty Huso splash. 1, 2, 3. Jay beat Ilya. Now, a year later, Anna, Ilya Dragunov, the reports are coming out that he's coming back soon. His knee's starting to feel better, Anna. He's starting to work out again. He's getting ready. He's about to be cleared. And there's a mystery member of the King of the Ring tournament on the men's side. Round 1, Anna, tonight, it was going to be Bronson Reed, Sheamus, Rusev, and a mystery guy. And you look at those 3 guys, Anna, you're like, man, Rusev, Sheamus, Bronson Reed, these are big, physical, hard-hitting guys, elbows, chops, slams. What other guy would fit as the 4th guy? Of course, it's Ilya Dragunov. Oh my God. Holy shit, everybody. They're going to do Ilya and Gunther at SummerSlam. Let's go. And what happens, Anna? We get the Rikishi rant, which I'm not saying had any part of this, but the timing is very funny. You know, we get that Rikishi rant, and hours later, Adam Pearce posts a video, and he's like, folks, your mystery 4th person is Jey Uso. I'll see you on Monday. And Ilya's...
I need this family to be arrested. Like, this is so criminal.
And Anna, the best part, I think Jay's winning.
Against who? Is he against, like, who is he against?
It's Jay, Bronson Reed, Sheamus, and Rusev.
It is a fatal 4-way in a King of the Ring.
Yeah, the first round matches are 4-ways, and then everything after is singles matches. Yeah.
If Jey Uso wins this match, it's gonna be like the most insane thing
ever. Because here's the thing.
No.
Bronson Reed is part of the Seth group, and they have
he can't lose.
But they have issues with LA Knight, so LA Knight's probably gonna screw them. And then Rusev and Sheamus have beef. They probably cancel each other out. I'm just saying. Look at him. Jay's probably winning the match.
I hope Bronson Reed does so many tsunamis in Jey Uso that he starts like coughing blood like Kenny. You know what I mean? Like, just do so many tsunamis. Like, don't even like measure your strength. Just oh my God, just please save us. Like, this is insane.
No, I don't think it's going to be the WrestlePurists audience that crashes out, but there will be a portion of the online wrestling public that will be very upset.
I will be fucking crashing out. I'm sorry. Have you seen these names?
Seamus is eating an Uso splash.
Like, do you want me to believe that Jey Uso is the better wrestler out of these 3 guys, that he is the one that's supposed to win this match? Like, no, I'm sorry. I'm 100% Ilya Dragunov FC. Like, I miss him so much. Like, Ilya is such a good wrestler. I don't know if Triple H has the sauce to do another Gunther versus Ilya. You know, like it doesn't feel like it because it is fucking booking. But I would love to see this match again. But for me, that's like a WrestleMania match. You know, but they need to like push Ilya in a good way because he's such a phenomenal wrestler. But I feel like with the main roster Krause is still hasn't like connected fully, and I felt like he was getting there, and then he got injured. You know,
right,
he was
when
like
he got hurt,
it felt like he was like about like it was starting to click, and then the timing fucked up. So I really, really do hope that now when he's back, like whenever that is, they can work it in a way that people are excited to see him beat Gunther again, and that they can, because they can build like such a good storyline with that, like take it to WrestleMania, like do it at a big event, and they would just have one of the best matches of whatever event, you know, like I'm everyone knows that, like the fact that we had to deal with Jey Uso winning the Royal Rumble, and now there's a risk. There's like him being a King of the Ring feels like a threat.
Right like, after he loses the belt, you know, like
like how it does, like what did he even do to deserve this? He just lost the belt. Like, why is he getting this opportunity?
It feels like fan base trolling. Yeah,
it's like because my dad went on a podcast and started complaining. Like, learn how to spear. I don't know.
So we'll see what happens. And I do agree with your point that Ilya he's not a big WWE style personality like a Jey Uso, but he would have connected, in my opinion, because if you're good enough in the ring, you will get over. Because like Lyra, for example, Valkyria, she now has gotten the respect of the crowd, and so she's not like, she's not the big personality of a Liv Morgan, for example, right? But she just works so hard in there, and her matches are so good, and like now she's doing the stuff with Becky that's like really connecting. So it would have happened for Ilya for sure, and we'll see when he comes back. But stay tuned, Ilya FC, stay strong. You guys have my sympathies tonight, And with that said, folks, we're going to pivot to the super chats. I want to hear you guys' opinion on the latest in pro wrestling. And we're going to go through about half of these, and then I'm going to quickly go over some of the New Japan stuff because there's a lot to get into there with Dominion. But take it away, Monty. Let's get these super chats. And Anna, you are on the super chat reading duty as usual.
Yeah. Natalie, age 10 pounds. Thank you so much. Hi, Boo Boo. I cannot believe you made me say this. You co-tweeted a thread earlier about
that's gonna get clipped
by you. Yeah. Just gonna be like rewatching that. You co-tweeted a thread earlier about Conan reaching his expiry date as the booker around 2015. Any other bookers that reach their expiry date you'd like to comment on, plus their impact? I mean, I have a very clear name, but if I say something.
Yeah, so Natalie's referring to the Rob Viper thread. And for those that don't know, Rob Viper, who is a member of Lucha Media and has been covering Lucha Libre and the Lucha scene for years, he gave his thread on the TripleMania Regia show, which it was a big show in Monterrey, Mexico. They broadcasted the last 3 matches of the card on Max. Yes, only the last 3 matches were broadcasted. It was on Max in Mexico. There was no legal way to watch this show if you lived outside of Mexico. You literally needed a VPN, and then you would have had to get Max and then switch to Mexico to watch it. I had my ways, and I was able to watch the show. And I'll say this, it wasn't particularly good, but I was entertained, and probably for like the wrong reasons. But regardless of whether you thought it was a great show, a bad show, or a terrible show, I think it's pretty much an objective fact that show didn't hold a candle to Worlds Collide. And, you know, for all the talk about WWE coming in and changing like what AAA is and so on and so forth, which, you know, there are many valid opinions to have about that. Worlds Collide was a really nice show. And it did function as a solid primer and introduction to AAA and their wrestlers for people that were unfamiliar and uninitiated. And if you're AAA, you should be thinking, we should try to be more in that direction for new audiences and new viewers so that maybe we can create new fans, you know? And obviously, like, an element of chaos and chaotic booking has always been a part of AAA's identity. It's very Russo-pilled in that way. Worlds Collide was a more straightforward wrestling show. And now anyone that tuned into TripleMania, Anna, they would have been treated to insanity, chaos, JBL cutting MAGA promos, and like 90 run-ins in every match. The main event, Anna, was Elio del Vikingo versus Alberto El Patron. And this is a fucking mess, Anna, because Alberto El Patron is a piece of shit. We all know this, right?
Yeah.
But the AAA audience loves him, and they don't like Vikingo. What the fuck's going on? Basically, Anna, they see Vikingo as the face of this WWE AAA partnership. They see him as an industry plant. And they see Vikingo walking with the mega championship that he's won recently because it was WWE's order for him to win. They see that and they boo him and they're like, man, fuck this. To them, this is the fucking industry plant chosen by the gringos to fucking come in here and be the fucking whatever, right? And Alberto, he's not a part of any of this crossover stuff because WWE wants nothing to do with him, right? And justifiably so. But to their audience, Anna, he's a guy who's been wronged. He's been screwed over. Yeah.
You know, Mexican wrestling is like the one place that it doesn't matter what heinous crime you've committed. I feel like you can just go there. You know what I mean? Like, they just take the craziest people. And like, what the fuck do you mean that they see Vikingo and then they see Alberto Del Rio that was in WWE before? And like, is he born in Mexico, or is he, you know, like American that he has like one grandparent that's Mexican and it's like, oh, I'm Mexican. Like, what
Alberto, is the? Honestly, I'm personally not sure, but what I do know is this, Anna. The thing is, to them, right? They see Alberto as somebody who has had allegations of all kinds of things, but he's an innocent man, and he's being wronged by this evil billionaire company who's not giving him a fair shot. That's what they see, right? And then to make things even more complicated, and it's not my business, even though it's out there, but like, you talk to the Mexican fans, and I've seen some of these comments on social media. There have been issues coming out about like El Vikingo taking care of his children, and people are using that against him as reasons for why they don't like him. And I'm just like, all right, I mean, if you want to do that, that's fine. But like, you're cheering for Alberto here. But that's why this is such a weird situation because, like I said, Anna, Alberto dropped his title to Vikingo shortly before Worlds Collide so that Vikingo could hold the mega championship at the WWE show. And when Alberto lost, even though he's a heel, Anna, he very much played himself for sympathy. And he very much kind of had that, y'all see what they're doing to me look on his face. And so again, the fans, they see that, they see WWE freezing him out, and they're like, man, that's not cool, man. What are y'all doing to Alberto? And so on this show, he's the cool heel, Anna, walking out there, and He's having a cage match with Vikingo. The fans already feel the way they feel about the situation. And then your thought as a fan is maybe Vikingo can win the crowd over by doing his cool stuff. Because if nothing else, he can do a bunch of impressive athletic moves, right? Because it's AAA and it's Conan booked, they put him in a match where it's a cage match where he can't really do a lot of his athletic moves. So it's Vikingo working a basic style against Alberto El Patron in a cage match. The fans are booing Vikingo. And then what makes all this nastier, Anna, is Latin Lover is one of the greatest AAA wrestlers of all time. And currently he is a authority figure in AAA. And he's feuding with Alberto, right? And they do a thing, Matt, Anna, where they're wrestling, and then they just cuts to like this cool fucking like Lamborghini or whatever, just like pulling up into the arena. I'm like, who's this? And it's Latin Lover, and he walks out, and you're thinking, okay, he's gonna be the guy to fight off the heels that are around the cage to help Vikingo win. But instead of doing that, because that would make psychological sense, he's just like cheating on behalf of Vikingo. And I'm like, what are they doing? Why is it the face cheating? And so Latin Lover's kind of getting involved, and the fans are booing. And I'm like, yeah, because you're cheating. And so like he's like trying to hit Alberto and shit. And I'm like, what are they doing? There's heels at a ringside. Octagon Jr. runs out. Nino Hamburguesa, who's this like really overweight man, runs in and does a bunch of, yes, his name is Nino Hamburguesa. He runs in, he does a bunch of like fucking cannonballs. It's really funny. His titties are flopping everywhere. It's incredible. It's a great visual. He's running in. The fucking Laredo Kid runs in at one point to do like a dive off the cage. He's at the top of the cage for like 2 minutes straight, just like fucking making a prayer, like fucking hoping he survives this dive. Does a dive, they catch him, thankfully. There's a table spot at one point with Vikingo and Del Rio. Vikingo's dad gets involved because there was oh my god, here's another thing, Anna. There's like a Mexican talk show where they did a work shoot angle where Alberto beats up Vikingo's father, right? And like that was meant to get heel heat on Alberto, but the fans thought like, man, he's so fucking cool for this fucking like he beat down angle.
That's insane.
Yeah, and even in the show, like, he's walking out in this like this blue like suit and shit. Alberto is. He looks like a fucking supervillain and shit, and like he's low key aura farming, like he's being like the cool villain, and the crowd loves him. So mid match, he does that thing with his fist, where they're like, see, and so he's doing all that stuff. The bottom line is, it was a complete shit show of a main event, but it was also really, really funny. And Rob Viper's whole thread was, guys, the way you book is not going to get Vikingo over. You're putting this high-flying guy in a situation where he can't do his stuff against the guy that the crowd already sees as cool, and then he's fucking cheating to then defeat Alberto El Patron. You know, like, you're not putting him in position to do well. And he was basically saying that Conan is a washed booker, and he never knew how to book baby faces. And he made a great point, Anna. He said Conan does not know how to book baby faces except when he would book himself. Because you know what Conan would do when he was in a disadvantaged situation as a babyface, Anna? 6 heels would run in and attack him, and you know what would happen? He'd beat up 6 heels. He'd beat up 6 heels and walk off. Because that's what baby faces do when they're over. But in AAA, when it's other baby faces, these guys get laid out. You know, so it was a good thread. It's really worth reading if you're into that kind of thing. The Garzas did win the tag belts on this show, which I thought that was pretty cool. That match is okay. Joe Henry was inexplicably really over at this show, which was it was what it was. But yeah, we have a bit of a mess of a situation here. The fans don't like Vikingo. They love Alberto. He's not gonna get booked by WWE. It
sucks for them, I guess.
Yeah.
But I do get like people in the chat were explaining that Alberto is like a Mexican royalty, so I do understand that he's also, you know, like the fans have like this connection with him as well. Like that does make sense, you know. But it's still like, come on, how do you see him as the guy that is like the anti WWE guy when he was there first? Like, excuse, 2 brain cells, put them together.
You can't pick a different representative of this like cause that you're fighting. You know what I mean? Like
Moose pinned Wagner Jr. No.
Yeah, he did. It was a pretty bad 4-way, and he pinned him. Yeah.
I need Conan to be like. I know you're gonna say.
To answer Natalie's question, though, like there are a couple wash bookers. Gato, to be honest with you, is one of them. But that's a topic for a couple minutes from now.
Yeah. And AAA just getting there, you know. But it is what it is. Seth Rich Rogan, $10. Thank you so much. If I had a nickel for every failed hardcore match this week, cannot have 2 nickels, which isn't much, but it's weird it happened twice. Okay, Ibu, catch me up. What were the 2 hardcore matches that failed?
The one spot I forgot to mention, Anna, is after all these interferences, Anna, in this cage match, the final spot is supposed to be Latin Lover handcuffs Alberto's arm to the rope so that he couldn't escape the cage, and Vikingo was going to climb up the cage and climb out the opposite way to escape and win, right? But here's the problem. Latin Lover gets Del Rio's arm. He doesn't cuff him properly, so he does the handcuff spot. The handcuff drops off the rope, and so Del Rio's not handcuffed. He can absolutely escape the cage. He very much can easily just get out of there, but he has to pretend like, oh, I'm frozen as Vikingo is leaving. Even though the handcuff is not connected to anything. And I'm watching this like, what the fuck, man? The other one was on Dominion, Anna. We had David Finlay, who's had a great 2025, taking on Evil of the House of Torture in a dog collar death match. And
they trusted Evil with that, yeah.
They had a long, boring, slow, awful match that about 20 minutes in, the entire House of Torture start getting involved and stomping out David Finlay. Chase Owens emerges and turns heel and joins the House of Torture as your big angle. Bad Luck Fale, who returned in the first match, Anna, he was the surprise return for the House of Torture. He's now Don Fale, and he has a big white beard. All the guys put fucking David Finlay on a table, and then Bad Luck Fale gets to the top, very slowly gets to the top, grabs his knees and Texas back, and he does a big splash, breaks the table, and then Evil comes back in, and the ref wakes back up because this is a ref bump, and he counts the pinfall. That was a complete pile of shit. That was a total pile of shit. That
House of Torture.
Yeah.
In 2025, I mean, when was House of Torture ever good? But
Never.
House of Torture in 2025, it's just that's a method of torture. They chose the name very well. I've been saying that for years now. Every time I watch one of those matches, I'm like, yeah, this is torture.
This is torture.
This is but Evil. Oh my god. Also the Japanese fans, but the thing is, they love House of Torture. They actually love House of Torture, which is insane to me. But to each their own. But do you have eyes? I don't get it.
What's disappointing about it, Anna, is the stable was never good, but now Gato's tripling down on them because throughout the show, the whole undercard was built around them.
Insane.
Every other match, someone's joining House of Torture or House of Torture is getting involved. And it's Gato said, I'm going to add everybody to this group. And this is now just the super top heel group because
it's the bloodline.
Yes. Yeah. Fucking Fale comes out as Don Fale to join the group. Chase Owens is in the group now. Doki, who got injured at the Tokyo Dome at the beginning of the year. He was a babyface who was having a nice run as a junior. He's back now. He's just a member of House of Torture. And I'm like, why? Why is this a thing? The War Dogs are made to look like complete bitches on this show. Fucking Clark Connors and Drilla Maloney. So I don't know, man. I don't know.
House of Torture.
Yeah.
Then V900 999. Thank you. Drew coming back from his Bloodline Hunter story after losing to the Usos by roll-up to beat Jay made sense. Then Sammy finally beats Drew. I don't expect Gunther to face the real top guy, sadly. Yes, sadly, I do have to agree with that.
I'll say this. So, as terroristic as it is for Jey Uso to hold the world title, Anna, the one thing I liked about his reign on TV, as someone that watches all the Raws closely, is out of nowhere, Anna, everybody was pursuing his belt. Seth Rollins wanted it, and Punk kind of had his eye on it quietly. Sami Zayn kept talking about how he wants to be champion. Gunther wanted the belt. Even Logan Paul, unfortunately, wanted the belt.
Oh.
And the bottom line is whether a champ is good or not, every character on a show should want it. It's the title, right? And so now that Gunther's champ again, it can't be a thing where Gunther's a champ and only fucking Judgment Day cares about it, but Punk is dealing with Seth and this guy's dealing with that guy. Everybody should want the championship. It's the fucking championship. So hopefully that happens this time around.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dan.
Is there a logical reason for why they don't do that when Gunther is champion? Because I don't get it. I don't get it.
They were off to a good start when because Randy was his first opponent. Then it was Sammy.
Yeah.
And you're like, all right. And things happened, and his originally scheduled Survivor Series opponent, they couldn't really put together that match. And then plans changed, and then Gunther ended up because Gunther Jay was not the WrestleMania match. It was not his WrestleMania match. But once the call was made that Jay has to win the Rumble, that also changed even more Gunther plans. So on 2 occasions, both around Survivor Series and then at the top of the year, those 2 things fucked up a lot of what Gunther had going on, and then set him on the path that he was on. So I'll leave it there, and I won't comment any further.
It's so crazy to think how like everything would have been better if they just had put John Cena versus Gunther at WrestleMania.
I agree. That would have changed the course of a lot of like wrestling this year.
Yeah, WWE would be so much better right now if they had just made that one decision. But John Cena wanted to be a heel for some fucking reason, and and we have to suffer the consequences.
Yes.
Is it Barry 94? $5. Thank you. If AEW were to do a brand split, who do you put on each show, and what would you want each show to focus more on or specialize in?
Oh my God. This talk has risen back up, Anna, because they're unifying the Continental and the International Championships. Kenny Omega and Okada will be fighting for the AEW Unified title at All In. It's Omega, it's Okada, it's the 5th encounter. We're finally getting the rematch. Okada has turned double heel. He already was a heel, but he's turned super heel. And aligned with Don Callis. I don't know if he's in the family necessarily, but he's associated with Don. And because that belt is now a new thing, and Fightful had reported that this will be considered a world title for AEW. People are saying, all right, then maybe we can finally split these brands again. And I don't know how I feel about that, but to answer this question, I didn't hate the identities that were crafted for the brands 2 years ago. Like when they first did the Dynamite Collision thing, it felt like Dynamite was more like the Elite, Swerve, Hangman show in general. And Collision felt like the show with some of the other guys who kind of fall on the other side of the spectrum. And a lot of those people are gone now, like Andrade and Miro, for example. And Ricky Starks is gone. But FTR is still here. You know, they could still
Punk is gone.
Punk is definitely gone. So Loki, most of the Collision core is gone. But still, my point still stands. You can still definitely, because there already is like a soft brand split. If people pay attention, if people really pay attention, Adam Cole is mostly on fucking Collision. You know, Roderick Strong is mostly on Collision. FTR is mostly on Collision. You know, so I don't really have an issue with continuing with that direction, but you definitely need some top guys to move over as well.
Yeah.
So
I would do like Collision, because I really liked Collision when it was like it seemed, at least the impression, you know, it was just like the wrestling show.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes like sense what I'm saying, but for like Dynamite, you're really like advancing all the stories, and it's this and it's that, and there's like so many things going on, and then you watch Collision and you're like, okay, here are the matches that you want to see. You know what I would do? I would just hand the book over to Brian and just be like, you know, book it. Let's see what the fuck happens here, you know? But I would use Collision to put more of like the like a different kind of wrestling. I don't know not for AEW, they do a lot of different things, but just like people you don't really use as those main guys. And I do understand why you need some top guys also to move over, but I would like for that to be like a space where you build new top stars, you know, like put Queen Aminata there, like put like the luchadores, the Joshis, like put people there that you want to build over and give them the space where they're not drowned out by the top people every week.
What I find interesting in is there are people pushing back on this concept, but guys, if you pay attention, like I said, there already is a soft brand split. Like there's already people that already primarily reside on that show because like it's like kind of a B show, and they just kind of do more wrestling oriented stuff. Like it already kind of happens. So to me, it's like formalizing that and just being a little more focused in like what you want out of the show as a goal creatively, like Anna's kind of suggesting, is not really an issue. It's already kind of happening. Like
it's already how I feel like Collision is, right? Like because I do feel like, okay, I'm not gonna watch if I want to know where the story is going. I'm not gonna watch Collision for it. But if I want to see a match that feels like it should be in a pay-per-view, maybe I'm gonna watch Collision. No. So I do like that, but if you had to move over, if you had to like separate the top guys, because now I do see like a Dynamite is very top heavy. You have Hangman, you have Ospreay, you have Swerve, you have the Elite, you like basically everyone is there. If you had to separate those top guys, how would you do it? I would put like Mercedes on Collision, being very honest. Like
I wouldn't hate that. I wouldn't hate that.
Yeah.
low key, I wouldn't hate making it even more of a women's oriented show. Like right now, Willow Nightingale and Chris Statlander are not currently at the creative forefront of AEW. And it seems like the women that Tony are focusing right now are Tony. Like, I'm talking for the last month. Are Tony Storm, Mercedes. He's really starting to kind of heat up some women's tag teams, so that's kind of gotten a lot of the tag title talk going. Like he's doing a lot of Megan Bain and Penelope Ford. He's doing a lot of Anna Jay, and it was Anna and Harley. Now it's Anna and Ty Conti, who's come back. Congrats to her. She looked really good last. Yeah.
My Brazilian sister.
Right.
I'm really happy to see her back because there was a point there that I'm like, does she even have a job anymore?
Like, what's going on? Yeah, so Tony's priority lately is like Ty J, it's Penelope and Megan, it's Sky Blue and Julia Hart. He's doing a lot of that, right? And getting Thekla off the ground, and that's fine, right? I think, okay, let's really, because it looks like they're telling a reconciliation story with Willow and Chris. Let's give that a little bit more time and do even more expansive shit with that on the other show if you want. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And while you do that, since Aminata doesn't have a natural tag partner in this tag division that you're clearly setting up, let her just have more singles reps where instead of just being the girl that puts over the new lady, let her actually start to string together some wins. You can go to the bottom of the card and let Aminata beat some ladies in 5-6 minute matches just to create momentum to then set up her as a challenger for one of these other women's champions. So like maybe it's not a case of like, okay, the men's rosters are going to be equal on both sides, but maybe fuck it. But considering Collision's ratings, because Tony, like his whole thing is like Collision just doesn't do the numbers that Dynamite does. Okay, then do more experimental stuff that'll help your product. And in this case, doing cooler things with the women, some of the women that you're not focusing on super hard right now, you can do that.
Yeah, what I would like is because AEW doesn't have like a WWE 2 tag titles for the men, for example, So if you're gonna do like the men's tag title on Dynamite and then on Collision you have the women's tag title, like do like those kind of divisions if you want to do. But I feel like AEW doesn't really work with a set brand split, and I wouldn't like to see that. I would still leave like some space that people can just float around. But if you're doing like this soft brand split, I would say like you said, Collision doesn't make the numbers anyway, so just let people wrestle, just let them build their own audience. Oh my god, this was literally CM Punk's vision, so whoops.
But yeah, look, I don't hate it. And again, it doesn't have to be formal. It can just be like, hey, this is what we focus more on with this show to help these specific groups of talents. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, considering that already exists. So
exactly.
Yeah. Thank you for the super chat, Izzy.
Thank you.
That's a good one.
Austin Kinko, $5. Thank you. Ibo was right about Young Jones hating Goldberg. The earliest reference from him would be this 2016 run and those awful Saudi matches after.
Yeah, Goldberg has really bad PR with a lot of WWE fans, Anna. And look, again, it's a lot of these people started watching wrestling like 6, 7, 8 years ago. And for their frame of reference, Goldberg is just the guy that walked in and squashed like Kevin Owens and then later Bray Wyatt. And so for those people, like I understand like resenting Goldberg, but like I could just tell by how certain people speak on him that like they don't know the Goldberg when he was at the peak of his powers. And look, I'm not saying everyone has to like him or like what he was about, because it's not for everybody. But like there was an appeal to who he was when he was really rolling. And the Goldberg debate kind of it's part low-key my fault. I started a whole thing over the weekend where I said he was a better pro wrestler than Logan Paul, which I absolutely stand by, and I will not apologize for.
I mean, he's a real pro wrestler. Logan Paul is a YouTuber that does moves.
That's what I'm exactly.
Yeah.
And you can tell by people's arguments about this topic. How do I put this? You can tell by their arguments how they view wrestling, and the best way I could put it is I view it differently than these people, and that's the most respectful way I could put that without coming off any way negatively. So I'll just leave it there, and I'll say, Austin, thank you for recognizing this, and hopefully what they do with Goldberg in this final run with Gunther is interesting creatively. I just hope the narrative they pick is interesting, because I'll say this, chat, hot take. And at the time, I had some frustrations. My brother was more mad at it than me. If you actually go back, the Brock Goldberg story from 2016 to 17 was a good story. The idea of, I want to let my kid watch me do Goldberg one last time, and I want him to see it. And do I have one last spear left in me, one last jackhammer? And then he pulls off the miracle and beats Brock, and he wins the title. And then Brock eventually gets back on to the mountain and beats him. Like, that was a good story. So we'll see what they do here. Thank you, Austin.
As long as he doesn't win the title.
Correct.
Not Josh Duffy, $4.99. Due to current news in the world right now, is Night of Champions still gonna happen?
I'd imagine it does. There was some issues within the region 3 or 4 years ago, and it didn't really stop anything. So if it does, if it is in jeopardy, I'd imagine like you'd hear it from WWE rather than myself. I'm not going to be the person that has that information, but stay tuned, and all I can do is hope for the safety of everybody involved going into.
Because I was gonna say that like WWE is not exactly the company that would cancel something because the wrestler's safety is in jeopardy. Let's be honest here. Yeah. Black Yakuzu 94, $5. Thank you. I'm appalled that Tony Khan would employ such a dangerous individual who really injures his own employees and nothing has been done. #, down with the dub. I'm just gonna say,
go for it.
Hangman would not have done it.
He would not have done that. He would not have assaulted that poor cameraman or assistant or whoever that was on the outside. And I think this is evidence that Jon Moxley needs to be taken care of and compromised.
He needs to lose the title. A real champion will not do that. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. We stand by that.
Then V900, thank you so much. 499. The Summer of Punk reign was 55 days and was awesome. Modern fans understand what can be done in a short time. Jay was so bad. Never should have won. 100% agree. Cook.
There's nothing. Look, man, I'm not saying we got to go full hot potato, but like a 2-month reign can be an interesting and good reign. The idea that like, a guy lost their belt in 2 months and so it's therefore bad. It's like, no, not necessarily. That's not necessarily. So this recent modern habit we have where everyone has to hold the belt for a year is awful.
Yeah. I do. I mean, I don't like when titles feel like very hot potato, like the TNT. You remember that phase that was like every 2 weeks someone won the TNT title?
Yes, when Sammy Guevara was going back for the
Sammy Guevara and then oh my god, that was a nightmare. Like, I don't like that. But you can have a short reign if you fill it with a lot of stuff and if you have like good matches in the short period of time, that it doesn't feel like someone just won it just to lose again in like 50 days. Because what happens a lot now is that they have like really long reigns, but then for like when you actually stop and look at it, for 50%, 60% of the reign, the person was doing nothing with it.
Mm-hmm.
And even in the short reigns, it feels like the person was doing nothing with it again. And so when it ends, you're like, oh, okay, what did they do? And then it feels a bit weird. But if you have a short reign, like if Gunther is supposed to lose the SummerSlam, but then every week you have him defending against someone and you have like an actual like strong storyline with Goldberg or whatever. Yeah, that is fine. I don't mind him losing at SummerSlam if you do something in between. If it just feels like he's just standing around just waiting to lose, then that's an issue.
That's a great point, Anna, and that's why, Io for the first month post Mania, Anna, she felt like the top star in WWE, and she was active every week, and she's main eventing TVs and having awesome matches, and that was awesome. And now that like they got their releases out of the way and they called up a bunch of people, and now they have like the rosters that they want, like now she's like being the standby champion, and to me it's like I'd rather it feels like she's doing that to just hold it until whatever the next big thing is, and to me, I'd rather she just continue wrestling regularly. And if that means she drops it a little bit earlier, like I'd rather that than Io just being like the person that just smiles backstage in interviews and doesn't wrestle enough,
Because with Io, it's also such a wasted opportunity, She got so over with the crowd, like so over. Every time everyone was doing the, the thing, she got super, super over. And then the second that you see like, oh my God, it's clicking. Everyone loves Io. What about just not giving her matches anymore? I do not get that. It's super weird.
My theory is, Anna, it was during a period where on the show there was a lot less people on the actual show, and I think it's because they were trying to figure out who they're cutting, right? And I felt like Hunter was like, okay, I don't know who I'm gonna keep, so we're gonna just do a lot of Io on this show. And she was holding it down, and she was producing great results because she's tremendous. And it feels like once they figured out who they're keeping, who's getting called up, blah 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 blah, and they finalized those rosters. Once that was set, it was like, all right, Io, you can get cooled down now. And it's like, why are you sabotaging her? She's with the ball that you've given her. Look at what she's produced. She's like the top star in the company.
Yeah. No, I do not get that at all. Like, well, WWE.
Triple H sucks. What are you gonna do?
Yeah. Wash bookers. Benjaminator 499, thank you. Next bloodline storyline should be Rikishi Karen complaining to Raw and SmackDown GMs. I would
He should be
rather
on
not.
It would be very funny if he was on the show.
Bloodline in 2025. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Yeah, it's over.
Go Birds XTL 499. Thank you. How are you feeling about the potential Gunter Goldberg match field? Oh, we already answered that, but thank you so much.
Yeah. Thanks, Go Birds. We already answered this earlier, but I think we're both on the opinion of, like, you know, no matter what, Gunther should not be losing to him.
Yes, that's my only opinion. And like you said, if they book it well, if it's actually an interesting story, which I believe they can do, you know, because Gunther can be like a very good heel, and I would love to see Gunther in this position of being the guy that just fucks over legends. If you don't want to book him against the top guys in your shows, I don't care. Bring like some 6-year-olds back and just let Gunther go through them, you know? Like, that's also very solid. He can be that guy. I don't mind.
Yeah, for sure.
Natalie H, £2, thank you. Saw Punk at the protest. No Kings, but MBS, right?
Yeah, this is in reference to CM Punk being at the No Kings protest over the weekend, which many people were in. Trump Punk is vocally against our current administration that is leading our nation, that is the Trump administration and everything that they're employing. And Natalie is one of the people that, and not the only people that have pointed out, you know, CM Punk, you're doing this protest, but you're going to Saudi Arabia. Last week, Anna, you missed it. CM Punk.
I saw it actually, boo.
Yep. He had a promo segment with John Cena, and he said he wanted to come after Cena's title. He, at one point in the promo, he said, "I don't stand in for billionaires or TKO. You know, I do this for the fans." And John Cena said, "Well, you know, if you're gonna do this for the fans, you want to face me. If you want to be a hero," he said, "like, you're gonna have to follow me to Saudi Arabia." As he literally said, "You're gonna follow me to Saudi Arabia to fight me." And Punk accepted. And then on Friday, Anna, John Cena said, "I was able to prove that CM Punk is a hypocrite if he wants a championship match with me." So they literally made it in the story that, you know, John Cena's like, CM Punk is a hypocrite for going to Saudi Arabia. So it's the big story of the week. There's been a lot of memes, a lot of jokes, a lot of videos of A-Rab Money, the song. Do you
I've seen a lot of the, I saw a lot of the screenshots of CM Punk's tweet, you know?
Yes. Which, hilariously, Anna, people have noticed, CM Punk logged back onto his Twitter to delete the tweet. And then it's a quiet thing. People, if you want to check, go and check. He logged back on his Twitter to delete the tweet, but
that's not a good look, I have to admit.
Do you have any take on Punk going to Saudi, Anna? I've said everything that there is to say about this over the last week.
Well, I'm just saying, you know, with the right amount of money, I guess a lot of people put their values aside. And if you make your whole personality about standing on your morals and stuff, not a good look. Not a good look. Just saying that. If he actually goes, then it's like no defending at all. And I feel that would be like taking a massive dump on his legacy and on everything he stood for, apparently. But I mean, he is back in WWE after all, so there's some things that, you know, are already like too far gone. But I would like for that to be some sort of storyline of him like, no, actually, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna find like another way to get the title. Like I could see that being something. But I feel like that's just like wishful thinking.
I mean, it's I don't know, but what I'll say about it is this: the bottom line is, look, most wrestlers are contradictory. Most wrestlers are hypocritical. Most wrestlers stand for very little. And look, at this point, everybody's going to Saudi. Cody's going. Even Sami Zayn, who was against going at first, is going. So many other people. What's really affected Punk is the fact that he was vocally against this, and he actively called it. You know, when he was telling Miz, "Go suck a blood money covered dick." And my whole thing was, if you're going to be the virtuous person, if you're going to be the person who takes, you know, strong social stances, if you're going to be the person that speaks out against certain things, and people will absolutely hold you to that, because, you know, by doing these things, you gain the respect of fans. And then, like, you let those very same people down when then you do things that are contradictory towards what you stand for. And I think Punk's personal rationalization in his mind, you know, I think in his head, I think the way he weighs it based on the things he said in interviews and some of his recent actions, including going to the No Kings protest, I think in his head is like, at the end of the day, I'm a net positive to society, and I help people, and I do things behind the scenes that help people. So you can't speak on my character, which I'm sure many of these people tweeting from their homes who are doing nothing for the society probably can't speak on his character. But also, CM Punk, you are opening yourself up to this criticism when you actually are doing this.
Exactly. I was gonna say he cannot complain if people criticize him, and if fans are disappointed, he cannot be upset about it because he put that on himself.
Mm-hmm.
No one forced him to like, oh, go criticize Saudi Arabia, but he did that, and he acted like, okay, this is my values, this is my morals, and he always told himself as a wrestler that stood out because he had such strong morals and values. And when he goes back in that, of course it's disappointing. Of course people are going to be upset. And he cannot expect any other reaction. And he cannot be like, actually, fuck y'all, because I'm actually a good person.
Like, Anna,
maybe you are. I don't know you. But you're still a hypocrite. That does not erase the fact that you're being a hypocrite.
Anna, has anybody ever attacked Jey Uso for going to Saudi? Like, no one said it. But that's because Yeet Man has nothing to say publicly about any of these things.
Yes.
He's just like, hey, man, I'm doing my thing. Uso, yeet. You know what I mean? CM Punk's the guy who's like, look, man, come on, guys. I fight for this. I fight for that. I fight for all these causes. Blah, 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 blah. Fuck Saudi, blood money, blah, blah, blah. You can't. You got to pick a lane. You got to pick a lane.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the deal with that, Natalie. Thank you for the super chat.
Commonwealth Cowboy 499, thank you. Ibu, you're a great sport about the Punk stuff last week. Hope you feel the love. Just 3 weeks into Hanger defeats that criminal. Thank God.
Thank you, Commonwealth Cowboy. All right, well, you know what it is for me? Because Anna, like, obviously, I love CM Punk and favorite wrestler of all time. There are people who are Punk fans who are like trying to like go on the timeline and fight the good fight last week, and it's like, guys, you're embarrassing yourself. You know what I mean? Like, just, it is what it is. He put himself in this position. Let him take his lashings. He's a grown man. He knew what was going to come out of his decision to go. And so let it pass, and then you move the fuck on. You make yourself look bad if you're running, you're jumping on minefields for this guy who ultimately is a millionaire wrestler. Like, I would look really stupid if I was like, no, guys, stop making fun of CM Punk, all right? What about this? What about that? It's like, I could do that. I could play the whataboutism game. I could totally bring up, all the moral failings of this wrestler and that wrestler. But it's like, ultimately, it's a really reductive, pointless mudslinging game that makes me look fucking stupid and embarrassing. So, no, I'm going to sit back and let people say what they're very much within their right to say.
Yeah. And yeah, just 3 weeks into Hanger wins the title. I mean, of course, I do not wish harm on anyone, and I hope the employee gets his bag. I'm always going to stand by the employees getting their bag, especially in the US where, everything else is kind of fucked. But if this leads to them being like, fuck, Moxley cannot be champion anymore, then it was a good cause. It is what it is. Sometimes, a push is a push. So I hope the guy is fine. I hope he gets his bag. And I hope that leads to Moxley having to lose the title. But yeah. Natalie aged 2 pounds. Is Melo going to help Bronson tonight? # Melo don't miss.
So this is a reference, Anna. On Friday's SmackDown, there was a 4-way first round match of the King of the Ring. And it was Melo, Aleister Black, Randy, and LA Knight. And Melo, okay, yeah. And so LA Knight has beef with the Seth Rollins team, right? And so Knight, like, he was about to win. And then Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker attacked him, right? And then Melo had the opening to then hit his finisher on Knight. But before he did it, he looked at Braun Breaker and they had a little moment. It was like, my old buddy, NXT. And then he kind of did his thing. And so fans are like, oh my God, is Melo going to join them? Oh! And like, that would be nice, but I don't put faith in Paul Levesque into doing nice things for Carmelo Hayes. So I don't know.
Insane.
Thank you.
That would be that would be very good for him.
Yes.
But well, do they like him? That's the question. Hasla 12 $2. Thank you. Hi, WrestlePurists. Hope you're all well. Any update on the guns?
No.
Nope.
No.
Natalie aged 2 pounds. Thank you. Bret Hart, good chat is wrong. Haven't watched him.
Yeah, Bret Hart's very good. He's very good. He's a very good wrestler. I like Bret. He's a little bitter, but I'd be bitter too if, like, family was dead and I have a concussion. I have a fucking, my career got cut short and I had strokes and shit. Like, I'd probably hate the world too. So. You gotta let people be angry sometimes, you know. So some people just angry guy. Yeah.
He has reasons.
Yeah.
Masp 199. Who do you see beating Fatu for the US title?
Oh my god.
I think it depends. They can go with two directions with that, in my opinion. They can go with like a David versus Goliath kind of story, which they love doing, or they can go with something like another huge guy coming in and just fucking him up and being like even a bigger threat. But I feel like that's very hard and that would damage his character a lot.
Yeah.
So at this point, generally, I don't see anyone who I think like, oh, this person deserves to beat him.
I don't know who it is. I'll reveal something that like people are obviously gonna run around. People are gonna aggregate this, even though it's not like a plan. It's just something somebody pitched. There was a recent creative meeting where someone said, "Why don't we have Andrade do it?" And I have no clue where that went, or if anyone even like gave that any credence or thought. But that was something that somebody was like, "Hey, why don't we like try doing that?" So we'll see. I don't see anybody anytime soon being worthy of beating him, though. I think he should just hold this for the future.
Absolutely. You have to build towards that. And it's so many things because you have to build, you have to book someone together, but the crowd also has to choose the person that they want. You know, technically the crowd has to be behind someone because you never know. The crowd is super behind Karrion Kross. Who knows? They just say like, you know what? Let's give Kross this. Like,
yes.
They can never be sure. As long as it's not solo, for fuck's sake. Right. Vengeminator 199. Congrats, Anna. Thank you so much. Kenny Omega level pyro. Thank you. Appreciate it.
You putting your fingers up and it's just.
Oh man. Oh, Louise 199. Congrats, Anna. Oh, thank you again. Oh, you guys are the best. How would y'all book a ENC reunion?
Edge and Christian. I have no clue. Because Christian is like a piece of shit on the show, you know?
Yes. And Ed, I mean, I think the easiest thing to do is for Edge to turn heel.
Yeah.
Is he already heel? Because he was like a bit aligned with FTR. Did I miss something? Because he's gone now for a while, right? And FTR are heels now.
Yeah, they turned heel on him. And so the thing is, like, in the original plan, folks, was going to be Edge and Christian versus FTR at All In. I'm not sure that's happening anymore. And I'll try to get details on that, but I don't know really how you get to a reunion because Christian is still like an asshole on these shows. And there's no like indication of him adjusting in that.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like that's what I was saying. The easiest thing is for Edge to turn heel because I cannot see Christian just out of nowhere being like, actually, I'm so sorry your dad died. You know, like I don't think that like really matches with his character. He should not be someone that should turn face ever.
Yeah, he's great at his role. I also have a pretty harsh take that I don't mean to be harsh because I have nothing against Mr. Copeland, but seeing how AEW programming has gone in his absence, I must say I don't feel like he really clicks in AEW that much.
No,
he can like have good matches, and he has had good matches, and he's had good promos, and people like him, and they like singing Metalingus. But I just feel like he never really clicks with everything else going on. And I feel like a lot of the product has to like adjust for his presence and create an opening for him to have a big story. And sometimes it comes at the detriment of like other people's stuff. Like he was just doing that program with Jon Moxley and it sucked. And the match is awful. And like it was a big black eye happening on the show. And is that all his fault necessarily? I don't know, but I look at it like basketball, Chad. For those of you, for the 40 of you that'll understand this reference, he feels like a guy who's a high usage player who, when he's on the floor, you got to give him the space to shoot a lot and do his thing. And can he score 16 points? Yes, but he's shooting like 40% from the field, and the team isn't winning as much. So it's just a thing that I've been feeling about Copeland.
Yeah, I felt that since the beginning. He's just a WWE guy.
Yeah.
You know, some people, they're just for the company. Like, I cannot imagine some people who are in AEW succeeding in WWE the same way that I cannot imagine some people in WWE succeeding in AEW. And for me, he's the best example of it because I feel like so far, everyone who switched sides still, like, at least had one or two things, like, worked, even if some people didn't like overall really like them, like a Jericho, for example. He still had like in AEW some moments that really worked and that were good, you know. And so far, like all of the people who switched around, just like, okay, this makes sense. Okay, they're doing well, etc., etc. Of course, there was the people that went back to WWE and stuff, like the Rusev, like Miro, but he still had the moment that he clicked and he hit. But I just do not feel that with Copeland, and I would love to be wrong because I do like him, you know. But it's just, yeah, but I haven't seen it yet, and I feel like every time that I saw him, like each time more and more, I just had the feeling of, he shouldn't have left WWE.
He had nothing left to do, and they didn't want to. They didn't want to pay him the amount he wanted to stay. So, but like, and so I got him like in his mind. He's like, I'm gonna go to AEW and work all these guys, and like that's cool. He didn't come in with like a bad attitude at AEW, so I don't want to cast any aspersions on him. Like if anyone's listening to this, he's not one of those guys that walked in like I'm some hot shot from WWE and I'm gonna run shit. Like he's not doing that, right? But I do think sometimes like the WWE is just in your DNA. You know?
Yeah.
And I feel like he just came in and it's just not the best fit. And you all can tell me this is a coincidence or not. I feel like every time AEW has been Copeland centric, the show coincidentally also kind of sucks. So like every single time, like he's in a big story and the show is just kind of ass. The start of this year, AEW had a bad January before the pivot, and we were doing shows where main event tags were built around Jericho and Edge sequences. That was not it. It was not it. So
But that's also Jericho, you know. I wouldn't put that 100% on my man Copeland. Like that's everything with Jericho involved. Everything that Jericho touches just goes to shit in big 2025. So I wouldn't put all of that on Copeland, but I do agree with you. You know, 2 times is a coincidence, 3 times is like,
yeah. So chat, y'all let me know if I'm being unfair, but it's just a gut feeling. It's just a gut feeling. So we'll see. Thank you, Lewis.
Bye, Dune. Congrats. And oh my God, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you. Ibu was singing Celebration.
What song? Is there
Choose. Do the Mercedes rap again. Go.
No. Did you see someone edited that and then put like a fucking soundtrack
with a song?
I'm not doing that one again.
Wait, I'm gonna choose.
Oh my God.
Oh, the bells. Let's celebrate that Nikki's back. You can look, but you can't. Go, Ibu. Go. Go.
What's the song?
You gotta celebrate. You gotta celebrate. I'm graduating in 10 days, you know, like I finished my bachelor project. I need like
Nikki Bella theme song lyrics. Let's find this shit.
You can look, but you can't touch.
The song is called You Can Look, and then in parentheses, but you can't touch.
You can't. Exactly. Put the song on. I want the music. Oh, can we do that copyright?
No, we can't. No, we can't.
Okay, just sing it.
You need to cite. Let's see what we got here. Jesus fucking Christ. I got the first 2.
Do the whole thing. Until the chorus. Until the first chorus.
You keep dreaming on the stars above. See, I can't even do this next part because I don't know the I don't even know how
your eyes got me looking through me.
Yeah, I don't know how this goes. All I know is when they would walk out, like they would like do that kind of like dance and like do the little twirl and shit. Yeah, the little fucking twirl. Jesus fucking.
I know. I used to love that. I would be in front of my TV doing the dance.
Doing the fucking twirl. Jesus Christ. Well, thank you, Baydun, and we appreciate
Ibu, can you sing Casaninare for me?
Not for $2, no.
Guys, you know what to do.
I'm not that much of a slut. Like let's you know, like
you know what to do.
Maybe $30, you know, 50.
Nah, 10 is good.
I'm not
it's my celebration.
I'm not doing it. We got a salute.
It's Luger 1 and 9, thank you. Alien and Farm Smooth Criminal is better, by the way.
No, it's not. This is not true. Corey Hayes tweeted this. It was disgusting. I was offended. I was angered. I was shaken to my core. Someone made a video where they isolated the vocals of Smooth Criminal without the drum beat, and all you're hearing is like, I don't know. At the end of the song, he's doing all the fucking ad-libs and shit. I don't know. And all the fucking falsetto shit. And you hear like the, That got it, baby. Got it, baby. That got it. Fucking amazing.
But like, I'm sorry, there are some artists that no matter who covers them, they're never gonna be the original, and Michael Jackson is one of them. You know, it's a great cover. It's not better.
Someone in the self-made Discord was playing the Weeknd's version of Dirty Diana. It's so shitty. Sorry, it's so ass, bro. I'm sorry. No offense to the Weeknd or any of the Weeknd's fans, but that was, I don't know about that one. Thank you, it's Luger.
Yeah. Eddie, $2. Who are you giving your mid-years awards to?
Yo, I misheard what you just said there, but we're gonna do a show. We're gonna do a show, a WrestlePurists podcast, where we'll give our detailed ones on this. So I'll give you guys just like a vague, light thing here. Right now, I'm leaning towards Tony as Booker of the Year, and my Wrestler of the Year is Goto. So, and I'll get into details and all my other picks extensively on the WrestlePurists show when we eventually do that. But right now, I'm feeling Goto as my Wrestler of the Year. I thought his main event just this past weekend at Dominion. You know, Dominion is a very uneven show, but I thought that main event with Shingo was fucking fantastic. And it went under the radar because all the talk is about fucking New Japan being a House of Torture company. So it's unfortunate.
Dragon Master Adam, £2. Can't stay for long, but congrats, Anna. Thank you so much. Oh, guys, I appreciate you all so much.
A lot of love.
I love this community that we have here. You know, like the wrestling, the IWC, the wrestling online community can be very shitty sometimes.
Yes.
But I do like the community that we built with WrestlePurists, and I appreciate all of you guys. So thank you.
Yes. Absolutely.
Oh my God, even in Spanish. Pedro T, 199. Thank you. Felicidades, Ana, por tu graduación. Thank you.
Look at that.
Mi gente latina.
You're trying to flex on me, but I can say that exact same super chat. You know that, right?
Say it. You're so racist.
No. Felicidades, Ana, por tu graduación. Graduación. I did it. You know what I'm saying?
Graduación.
Habla español. You know what I'm saying? I do my thing.
Well, yo, that's not even the kind of Latina I am, but sure.
There's mad LMAOs in the chat. Yo, T Parks at Unk Blues ACL.
The graduation was great.
Hell, that shit was fucking me up.
I can say exactly the thing you're saying.
Yo, I was doing pretty good though. You know.
Natalie, age 2 pounds. If you want to believe that, Ivo, I'll let you believe that. All I'm saying, Anna, come with a blue thunder bomb. I would not be mad about it, guys. I'm just saying I would not be mad about it. I love Sammy. Sammy winning a world championship is so incredibly overdue. Like, it's about fucking time. Yeah. Just book Gunter well until then. That's my only thing.
Absolutely. Thank you, Natalie.
Thank you. Sway, 199. Yeet. Fucking 4 letters, 1 word.
I swayed to the clip of the Rikishi rant where he's like, "We was yeet, motherfucking yeeting." It's like, all right,
I was crying. Oh my
God, whole arena.
So
yeet, motherfucking yeet.
That's what wrestling's all about.
I guess so. Emo
phrases. Yeah. Ryan Ciccini, 279 Canadian. Thank you. Shout out Oba making Jasper look like a monster.
This is in reference to Oba Femi taking on the winner of LFG, the reality show, Jasper.
Oh.
Yeah, Oba faced the reality show guy last week.
Oh.
And yeah, there was, not a big story, but people did. The NXT fans loved this, and I thought it was a fine match. And if nothing else, what it shows is that Oba Femi has now grown to a point where he can work guys who are like green as goose shit and have good matches with them, and that's a big deal because before. Yeah. Oba used to be the guy that needed to be led, and like made to look good. Now he can just make like randos look good. So shout out to Oba Femi. Thank you, Ryan.
Shout out. Thank you. Do we have more super chats, Monty? Oh, yes. I'm not gonna read that, but thank you for the money. I'm gonna use that to pay for my new Gunther t-shirt.
Oh, cry, Anna, cry. Yo, Rikishi, we should be allowed to play. I mean, I'm not gonna do it here, but like we should be allowed to play Rikishi's podcast, right? Rikishi won't sue WrestlePurists, would he? Because I'm gonna make Rob put it as like one of the things we could use as like a soundboard thing. Just Rikishi going, whole arena, yeet, motherfucking yeeting all over the place.
Kenny Jones 199. It will please compare your 5-star rating system versus Dave. Do you have a system?
Yeah, I do actually. I've been doing lately. I've been giving my public star ratings, and usually they're private, like my voting history. But I don't rate as generously as Dave, but I have a good criteria for my matches over the weekend. I'll give my weekend star ratings, folks.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you know what?
Women 2 stars maximum.
Of course, but no, imagine this. You know, let's start with let's see here. Let's start with SmackDown because this one will be funny because I thought there was some really bad matches on this. Okay, let's pull up the cage match. This is for Friday Night SmackDown, chat. What did Monty say here? Monty said he's gonna Monty said he's gonna close our podcast with the Rikishi rant. Let's go. All right, here we go, chat. Friday Night SmackDown. Randy Orton versus Aleister Black versus Carmelo Hayes versus LA Knight. Fatal 4-way King of the Ring first round, 16 minutes long. I thought Melo looked really good. I thought Randy looked really good. I thought Aleister Black and LA Knight looked pretty clumsy in this, but it was generally fun and came together pretty decently enough. I'm going to give this 3 1/4. I thought it was a good wrestling match. Nia Jax versus Mi Chin versus Jade Cargill versus Piper Niven. So this was a women's first round match. I like Jade Cargill. I like Piper. Nia Jax has good matches sometimes. I like Mi Chin. This is pretty bad. Very ambitious. They try to do a lot of combination spots. There was a barricade break. But this wasn't very good. It was laid out to be an epic match. The ladies' work was not able to match the layout. I'm going to give this 2 1/4.
Sounds all right.
Wyatt 6. Dexter Lumis and Joe Gacy versus the Motor City Machine Guns. This had no heat, and the finishing stretch was a complete disaster because Dexter Lumis forgot what the finish was, and he went for a pin, and then Joe Gacy had to tell him to get off the guy so that he could do his big move at the end. This was really bad. I'm going to give this 1 star. Alexa Bliss versus Alba Fire versus Candice LeRae versus Charlotte Flair. This was heatless and also pretty bad, but the close was a cool idea. Basically, Charlotte had one of the girls in the figure 8, and Alexa Bliss just got the sneak finish on the other girl. And so the tap and the pin happened at the exact same time. It looks like you're choking on that, and Anna, hopefully you're okay. You're dying. Hopefully someone's going to clip that too. But I like the finish here. I'm going to give this 2 stars. Your main event, Cody Rhodes, Andrade, Damian Priest, and Nakamura. 17 minutes. Andrade looked good. Cody Rhodes was very, very refreshed and happy to be back, clearly. I thought their work was gorgeous. Nakamura worked very hard despite, not being very good these days. He did work hard, and Priest was fine. I'm giving this 3 1/4. So those were Ibu's official ratings for Friday Night SmackDown. And then really, really, really quickly, I'm going to do Dominion and then get out of here. Okay. House of Torture, Don Fale, Red Narita, Sonata, and Yujiro versus the War Dogs. Chase Owens, Clark Carter's Dud. Ryohei Oiwa and Zack Sabre Jr. versus El Phantasmo Shota Umino. I don't remember it. Hiroshi Tanahashi versus or a 3 1/4. House of Torture, Doki and Sho versus Master Wato and Yo. 2 stars. Taichi and Ishii versus Callum Newman and Great O'Khan. 3 1/2. Really good. Oleg Bolton and Konosuke Takeshita. 3 3/4. Really fun. Evil versus David Finlay, dog collar death match, dud. Gabe Kidd and Yoda Tsuji, 3 3/4. Hiroki Goto and Shingo Takagi, fucking great match. You should watch this 4.5. This is awesome. This is the best Shingo match I've seen in a long time, not counting the Ishii match on January 5th, I believe. This is fucking excellent. So those are my ratings for Dominion. Oh my God, Kale said do AAA. Fucking triple mania. Regia. All right. Let's fucking pull it up. TripleMania Regia 2025. A show that had like 10 fucking matches and only 3 of them made the main card. Okay, so Moose versus Elio del Dr. Wagner Jr. versus El Mesias versus Joe Hendry. 4-way for the X Division Championship. 2.5. Wagner did some okay stuff. They did some multi-person spots. It was kind of slow and it was okay. 2.5. Los Garza, Angel Iberto versus Nueva Generación Dinamita, Forastero and Sanson versus Pagano and Psycho Clown versus Nick and Ryan Nemeth. This was a long moves match, and it was pretty good. 3.25. Not bad. Your main event, Alberto El Patron versus Elio del Vikingo. Anna, what I would say is this is the greatest 1.75 star match I've ever seen. It is the 5-star 1.75 match. It was incredibly
1.75, yeah. But then shouldn't it be a dud then? Or what is a dud then for you?
A dud is a 0. Here's the thing. It's bad, but it's like really, really funny. It's really funny. And I was never bored. I was like laughing for like 20 minutes straight. So I can't, you know what I mean? So it's like, what do I do? You could convince me that this is a 3-star match, just off entertainment value. So those are my ratings.
Thank you so much, people. I did notice the rating for the women's matches. It's okay.
It wasn't my. To save myself, chat. To save myself. On Monday last week, they did Roxanne. It was Roxanne, Rhea, Liv, and Kyrie. That was awesome. That was fucking awesome. 3.5.
2.5. Okay.
3.5.
Vernacular 4.99 was at Mania, and the eating was very robotic. Like everyone just stayed and did it for the moment, as opposed to actively rooting for Jay. Rikishi mad as fuck. Yes, I do. But there are a lot of things with WWE audiences that I feel like a lot of them get into because they see other people getting into it, and not because they actively like it or they actively think, oh my God, this guy's such a good wrestler. They're just doing because it's the movement, it's the moment. Everyone is doing it, so let me just join in. So I don't think everyone who, because they say the excuse of oh my God, of course Jay deserved the title. Look how many people he has rooting for him. Not everyone who's doing that is rooting for him. People sometimes just want to be a part of something fun. I don't know.
Oh my God. Give me Backshot Salamonster said we skipped his super chat.
Yes. Okay.
What was the super chat?
I think Cena Gunn would have been me to cuss Cena. Who is it? Cena Gunn?
What is Cena Gunn? Gunn? Machine Gun Carl Anderson? Or is it Cena Gunn, like a Cena stable?
Cena stable, I think. Yeah. So it's Logan Paul?
That would have been really bad.
Cena Gunn, Gunther.
No.
The Cena Gunn.
Yeah, we're like Cena Gunn? What the fuck? Cena Gunn? I'll tell you what, chat. John Cena's physically, but here's the thing: in a match with Gunther as a babyface, that's part of the story. That's what adds to the match,
and that's where Cena stands out. I feel like that when he does that character, the ultra babyface, that's where he always shined, and it's Gunther, Cena is not Jey Uso. Cena knows what's going on in the ring. Now, of course, it doesn't come across, but because the character is not clicking, also. But when he is in his bag, characterized and storyline wise, when it's in his bag, he can deliver a good match, and Gunther would take a good match out of him. I fully believe that. It wouldn't be mid, maybe it's not going to be the best match of either of those men's careers, but it would have been way better than what Cena versus Cody was, and then what Gunther versus Jey Uso was. I can absolutely say that.
I totally agree. The crowd would have been so behind him. Gunther's amazing as a heel in control. He would have worked the crowd. The dynamics would be perfect because, when it was Cody and Cena, the fans, they don't want to boo Cena because this is last Mania. In this situation, it's the right dynamic. The fans get to just cheer their hero fighting the good fight against the big villain. It would have been, the dynamics would have made the match automatically better. Even if John Cena can't execute the way he used to, that's fine. Tanahashi's execution is awful these days, but like it's Tanahashi and it just works and it's part of the story. So I agree. Thank you. Give me backshot Solomon for the super.
And chat. Monty, apparently we skipped also Black Yakuza's 94-second super chat, so let's go back to that. But Quad Monster G, $2, thank you so much. Anna thoughts on Punk making Arab money.
She just,
we talked about we talked about it. We talked about it.
Yeah.
Hypocrisy, capitalism gets us all. Nightmare LLC, $2.79 Canadian. Good Brothers versus Fallen Owens. Oh my god, I couldn't even finish saying that. That's just that sounds very evil to me. Like, I'm so sorry to Hobart's friends, but like that match has a sinister aura. Stuff 199, favorite ref of all time. Red Shoes, but no, he gave us Shota Umino. I cannot defend him anymore. That's a crime right there.
Who is my favorite ref? Oh, it's Charles Robinson, and I sent a very important message in the private chat. But yeah, for sure. Thank you, Stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Epic Department 19199. Ibu called Copeland Russell Westbrook. I'm weak.
It's very funny. It's a pretty decent comparison. If you want to see it that way, then go for it. But yeah, there you go.
Black Yakuza 94. You're here. $2. They had a Cope and Jericho stare down in 2025. There was no way this was gonna be good.
January AEW was crazy. Copeland, Jericho, and Jeff Jarrett all over the shows.
Insane. Absolutely insane.
That was nasty.
Patrick the Hill 199. Congrats. I know, guys. Thank you so much.
Look at all the love Anna's getting here. Y'all are never this nice to me. I'm just
I wonder why.
I'm just saying. This is kind of crazy.
I'm just like, when I didn't know that people were under the threat of an Ibu solo show, So when I tweeted I was gonna be back, and everyone was like thanking me. Everyone was like, I could feel the relief of the audience. Like, oh my god, I didn't know it was this bad. If I knew that we were under that threat, I would have confirmed the show way earlier.
Yeah, I was gonna do a solo show.
Don't worry, guys. Do not worry.
It's just
I'm
here for you. I'm jealous or anything. It's just interesting. It's interesting. It's interesting.
Thank you, guys. Johnny Bernie 199. Thank you. Nat Cope wasn't there in late 2024, the Dark Ages.
There were a couple of Dark Ages before this recent turnaround, but we were out of it.
We were for a few months there. It was very hard to like AEW.
Yeah,
but
it was a little smoothie.
Yeah. Bonnie, $2. Thank you. If Rikishi booked WWE, would it get better or worse? So much worse.
It would get notably worse. Yeah, it would get notably worse.
It would be, the heavyweight, like world heavyweight champion would be Jey Uso, and then whatever the other title is called would be like Jimmy Uso, and they would just it would be a nightmare. Bad Wrong 199. Thank you. Is New Japan cooked?
I don't know,
Has been
but
for a while.
I thought the Dominion show was disappointing creatively, and the G1 lineups don't electrify me. A Block looks good, but it's like the question now is just like, when are you guys gonna really? And we've been saying this for a long time. When are you gonna really just take a step with somebody? Now, Gabe Kidd won the global championship, and I took notice, and people pointed this out. The fans didn't love Gabe Kidd as much as he had been getting love recently, and some people attributed it to his recent AEW appearances and joining the Death Rider. Because there's a theory going around that, the fans are kind of like, oh, so you're just gonna eventually leave us like everybody else does. So your whole like I'm Shin Nihon stuff is bullshit. But nevertheless, do I think New Japan is cooked? I think it's concerning that they've lost a lot of major talent like Ospreay and Okada and Naito, and they haven't acted quick enough, in my opinion, in terms of really going hard with replacing them, in my opinion. So that's my take on it. Anna, you give yours before I read these G1 lineups.
Okay. Because for me, it's not like a lack of talent, and it's not a lack of people that they can push and they can put in that position. Like for me, Tsuji, he's been like ready to take that ball, for a while now. Like, and I do see people trying to step up, but it just feels like they're so like holding on to like those older names and those people who were there like before, or like I love Goto as well, but he's not exactly the youngest person in the world. So I just feel like they're holding on to that era of New Japan that was so great, but not really like accepting that that's over in a way. So I feel like they just need to, like you said, just try some stuff out. Not fucking Shada Umino. Like, no more nepotism. Just try people who can actually wrestle. Because you have the talent there. Of course, it's not the same pool of talent you had in 2017. Like, of course, it's very different. But you do still have talents that if you maybe just push and you give that opportunity, it can work. I do believe. Like, it's just, the booking is just not it right now.
Again,
and then they saw this whole situation and they thought, like, you know what we actually need? House of Torture to get bigger. Like, that's what we need right now.
A bigger stable. Insane. I was talking to my brother who watches every single New Japan show, and he was saying how like Shota's in a holding pattern, and that he thinks, and he watches all the shows, he thinks Shota inevitably his next big thing is joining House of Torture as a young leader.
Oh my God.
Like, fuck, that sucks. That sounds awful. But folks, I'm gonna give you guys your G1 lineups. So on the A block, we have Hiro Okigoto, who is my champion, Bolton Oleg, Yuya Uemura, Yota Tsuji, David Finlay, Evil, Sanada, Hiroshi Tanahashi, and 2 mystery people. And I'll tell you what, outside of Sanada and Evil, this looks like a very good block. The B block is El Fantasmo. We have Shota Umino, Shingo Takagi, Zack Sabre Jr., Great O'Khan, Gabe Kidd, Ren Narita, Konosuke Takeshita, and 2 mystery people. And again, not as interesting, but a good collection of talent. And so, like Anna said, the talent really isn't the issue. It's just what's the big journey or next big story that's going to really get me going for the future of the company? Because to me, it's like the most exciting thing is, like the 46-year-old world champion having great matches. We have four qualifiers, Anna, to get the blocks, the rest of the block names. We have Callum Newman versus Taichi. Winner gets into the G1. We have Ishii versus Drilla Maloney. Winner gets into the G1. Fale and Oiwa. Jesus fucking Christ. And Yoshihashi and Chase Owens. And my issue with these qualifiers is, looking at those first 2 matches, I feel like Maloney and Ishii should both be in the G1. I feel like Callum Newman and Taichi should both be in the G1. Why do they have to fight for a spot? And then, God forbid, Oiwa loses to Fale for a G1 spot. So we'll see. We'll see, but those are your G1 lineups.
Making Ishii fight for a spot in the G1 is just insane. Like, can we all agree on that? Like, what?
It's unfortunate. I think he's going to lose to. I think he's going to lose to Drilla and AEW stuff.
That's crazy. I mean, I don't really get it. No, there are some matches there that I'm like, okay, this like Takeshita versus Zack Sabre Jr. That there's some matches that really caught my eye, but way less than it would have been years ago. But that's fine. But I think they can still do good matches. I wasn't particularly a huge fan of G1 like last year, so we'll see how they do that. On that Isle of Fur?
Yeah,
on that Isle for real?
I guess.
Okay. 4 things are, thank you. When do you think they'll call up Saints and Page?
So I have mild news on this. There was conversation about this a month ago, and Hunter wanted to do a draft on the weekend that they were in Tampa. And they ultimately decided against it because they couldn't have time to properly plan out who was going where and what their storylines were going to be. And they didn't want to call up a bunch of people, and then they had no like real angles for them immediately. So ultimately Hunter said, fuck it, I'm going to delay the draft and just give me Stephanie and Julia right now, which he did. He called them up immediately, and there's already immediate reports, Anna, that like they want to push Julia, and Hunter's like in love with Julia, and like people are already memeing the fact that he loves Julia. It's really, really funny. She's going to squash Julian and win that US title like within the next few weeks. But
she should.
Right. With regards to Saints and Page, they're gonna get called up, but it will be later, like pretty late in the summer, is what I heard on that. So that's your answer.
Okay. Hunter 199. Any updates on PP situation? Oh, Private Party.
Right. I have no update, chat, on my PP situation. Everything's going great. With regards to Private Party, not as great. So they're not injured. Come on.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, my brain. I forgot the thing for a second.
To be fair to you, I'm the guy that like at age 20 would play Pokemon, and there'd be like an item you can give Pokemon, and it's called PP Up, and I'd be like, I would but yeah, so PP Private Party, they're not injured, and they're just not being used right now. Is the situation. AEW has nothing for them creatively as their deals are currently expiring. So that's basically their situation. There's nothing for them creatively at the moment, which is why that they haven't been on the show. That's why they're not on the show. And their deals are expiring, and nothing has been agreed to or signed as of right now. And that's where the stands. That's basically it. It's they're not being used. They're waiting to be used. They'd like to be used, and their deals are expiring.
They like to be used. It's crazy. Let me say something. They should go to NXT. Like, I'm sorry. I just think that they would click more there, and they would be better used there. You know?
I have no comment on that. I just hope that whatever happens with Private Party, I hope that they can reinvent themselves. I have a suspicion that they'd like to do that themselves, and they acknowledge that they've gone as far as they can as the versions of themselves that they have been. And I just hope that they can reinvent themselves and take their careers to the next level, wherever that is.
Yeah.
So shout out to
I feel like, to PP. I feel like their gimmick was always something that for me fit very well with like WWE, you know. So. And they are good wrestlers. I still do not understand what happened there with the title reign. It was such like here, goddamn, stop complaining, you know. They just deserve better, and if that better is in another company, then I'll be happy for them. And if anyone is complaining about it, I feel like that's like the dumbest switch to complain about, because like you saw how they were treated when they were champions, you know. So wherever they end up, I hope that they find the success they deserve. That's it.
It's strange too. I'll just add this because people in AEW like them. Like the Bucks love them, and they pushed for them really hard. And they weren't even going to win the titles. It was going to go to the Outrunners, and then the FTR was going to turn heel and feud with the Outrunners. And then like people in creative were like, let's not do that. And the Bucks were like, yo, let's put over Private Party, man. You know, like they push for them. Also, Jen Pepperman, who's Mercedes' like go-to writer, she likes Private Party. She was one of the people last year who was like, yo, let's like use some of these young guys, and she was pushing for them. So I'm not really sure what changed in that situation, but best of luck to Private Party. Best of luck to them. Is that the last super chat?
Yes.
Oh my God, it is. All right, so then before we sign out of here, folks, I'm going to give you guys quickly the AEW Grand Slam Mexico lineup, which will be this Wednesday on TBS, 2.5 hours. Mark Briscoe and Kazuchika Okada, non-title. That should be a fun time. 4 million pesos, high-flying four-way match. The winner of this match gets 4 million pesos, Anna. Who you got? It's Ricochet versus Lio Rush versus Hologram versus Máscara Dorada. Who do you got winning 4 million pesos, Anna?
How many dollars is that? Oh my God, $200,000.
Holy shit! Look at Tony is flaunting.
What?
He's flaunting his money.
Wait, say the names again. I need to lock in.
Ricochet.
How much money that is?
Ricochet, Lio Rush, Hologram, and Máscara Dorada for 4 million pesos.
Probably Ricochet.
Kale said, hopefully a Mexican. We'll see. We'll see who wins them. I could see Ricochet winning it and doing a bit with it, like on TV, you know, flaunting his.
Yeah, for sure.
12.
Imagine he gets it and then imagine he gets the money and then like next Dynamite he shows up like with hair implants or something.
That would be godly. That's actually what they should do. 12-man tag team. Adam Cole, Atlantis Jr., Bandito, Brody King, and Daniel Garcia and Templario versus FTR, Hechicero, and the Don Callis family, Josh Alexander, Konosuke Takeshita, and Kyle Fletcher. This is very much all these people just want to.
Yeah, that's an insane lineup.
Hey,
what do these people have to do with each other?
Tony said, look, bro, they all want to be on Arena Mexico. You're all in a big fucking tag. So, sure. We have a CMLL World Women's Championship match. The CMLL Women's Champion Zeuxis defends her title against Mercedes Moné. It comes with Moneymaker. We have Mystico versus MJF. And we have a big 10-man tag match. It's the Death Riders, Claudio, John, Moxie, and Yuta, along with the Young Bucks, versus Shibata, Hobbs, Samoa Joe, Swerve, and Ospreay. So basically, this is a bit of an Anarchy in the Arena rematch without some of the names in Mexico, and that should be fun to see. Just to see the novelty of them doing their match in Mexico. So looks like a fun show. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 matches, 2.5 hours. I will be watching, and I'm looking forward to that. So, folks, you can watch that 8 p.m. on TBS Wednesday. But as for our show, this has been Worldwide. I've had a lot of fun. Anna, you've been great, even though you're very, very tired, and it's been a long week for you. But folks, I hope you've enjoyed our show. And please make sure to like the video. Please make sure to subscribe. Please make sure to leave a comment. Hopefully a nice one, please. I have sensitive feelings. But Anna, I'll let you sign this off. Do you have any words of wisdom, any motivational speaking, anything you'd like to give the audience before we get out of here? Anything? Any public announcements?
I'm just gonna say, let's gun out together, and that's it. Jey Uso was compromised to a permanent end, and I'm very happy. Yeet. Pull the Rikishi clip.
The whole arena. Yeet. Yeet, yeet, yeet your motherfucking ass yeet.